The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Hello and welcome to Treading the Path of Heaven. This is Jonathan Kinney, your host. I'm joined as always by my co-hosts.
I'm Bill.
I'm Richard.
I'm Sam. Is that the voice we were doing?
You just gotta throw off the flow.
No, was that the voice we were doing?
The groove.
Uh,
We're doing Purgatory this time.
It's a new thing. We're trying new things. Cause why not?
When we're talking about stuff that's dead.
yeah. And
Slightly
this
less
is going to be
fun.
kind of a weird episode because I can guarantee that none of us have read a chapter of this book in a long time.
One of us has never read a chapter of this book ever.
That's
Well, I
usual,
mean,
though.
That's abnormal. They used to have this book for the people who don't know the lore. There was this book that came out that literally didn't care about lawsuits, and it was called Absolute Choice.
Boy, it was.
This dude really liked anime from the era of Hunter x Hunter onward.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like it had the
Wait, which one?
the
The
cultivation.
person who wrote the book.
New Hunter, old Hunter.
New Hunter x Hunter. Pretty much you reference everything from 2011 forward. The concept of this Absolute Choice, the power the main character has, right?
Yeah.
Is literally the power cloned from an anime. Not a lot of people saw it, called My Mental Choices.
Yep. I sure did watch that show.
I watched it and I am proud.
It
It's
was
fine.
okay. It was
It was funny.
It was a better show than it goddamn had any
deserved
right to be.
It didn't deserve to be that funny because the situations they would put him in. So in My Mental Choices, the main character has a problem,
Yeah.
and that God's an asshole, and gave him this
Why is
messed
that
up.
the base of so many of these books?
Gave him this messed up ability where the universe presents him options, and he has the option of taking one option or another, and depending on the option he takes, he's rewarded, and if he fails, he's horrifically punished. If he
vaguely
tries not to
remember
make a
this.
decision, he's horrifically punished.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be you guys.
You probably
talking
remember the
about
one
this
about
book,
like the porn mag and the girl, and he had to make a decision here, and if he did anything, he's like, "Oh, okay, put your face in her breasts or do this." And
Or
either
eat the
ones are
porn mag.
terrible. He's like, or one is like he's in the middle of class taking a test. It's like, make a choice, take off your pants and dance like a duck, or do this, and he's like, why?
Yeah, it was basically just like, oh man, it sure would be terrible if a choice happened right now. Huh? That was pretty much the whole point of that story.
Except imagine this is like One Punch Man universe, but also there's like martial cultivation and nin
Like,
from Hunter x Hunter.
and everyone's a psychic. Cultivation is also psychic based.
Oh yeah, and there's also VR MMO training
Oh.
where your power translates over and you can train it and it goes
It's-
between the
it's
two.
Very World Eater esque.
Wait, are we talking about Absolute Choice or My Mental Choices?
This might as well be an all anime review.
Yeah,
teeth.
yeah.
Because
No,
this
this is
author-
absolute choice.
All right, let's
When we
talk
say
about
this author is not afraid of lawsuits, we were not kidding. One Punch Man is a character.
His name is One
He is not
Punch.
He is not Saitama, in that he cannot destroy the world with a sword. There are people stronger than him in this universe. He uses a sword, but he's a very strong person wearing a yellow jumpsuit with red gloves.
uses a sword.
And he can
bald.
he's bald, and he can instantly teleport to the main character.
I'm gonna be honest. There's gonna be some names. I remember the main character's name, Shi Bai. Very important name.
No, to me, he's always just going to be this king because that's really his name. His name is this king.
We should get a description of the
Yeah,
story
let's do that.
nailed down. By the way, the author's name is
Great. It's great.
Pearlands in the Autumn Spring.
Oh.
Pearlands and Autumn Spring got sued, probably.
Pearland in the Autumn Lands wrote himself into a corner. He's like, I have no idea where to go from this. He was starting to get into the actually cool parts of his story.
It was.
He had this whole fucking diatribe on what good and evil actually meant, and like talked about his whole Chuny background in a way. I'm then like, did this actually happen? I think this actually happened.
All right, Bill. What is it?
A world filled with heroes with superpowers. A world attacked by calamity fiends. A modern world filled with wonders and dangers. She Shall By, a child from normal Earth, walked into such a world, proclaiming to be its king. But at the first signs of danger, he is forced to make a choice, one which he cannot refuse, for time would repeat, making him face the choice again. He is not humble, nor is he modest, but neither is he delusional. Yet, the absolute choice seems to make fun of him. Will the joke be on him, or will he laugh at his opponents? There will be many watching his escapades.
He'll laugh at his opponents.
And there will be some joining him in his adventures. To see through the world and to grasp its truth, that is the destiny of this king.
Wait, people joined him on his adventure. When did that happen?
In the fucking tower. Did you not read into the sweet training tower arc?
Where this one chick was like, oh, I know. I'll just be really weak to act like I need him to help me. So
Yeah,
that,
I remember that.
So that he'll like me.
I didn't realize that
He
was
gains like a
considered.
stalwart group of companions.
I didn't realize that counted. My bad. I mean,
that was towards the end of the story.
he mastered his crab walk ability, and
Yeah. He learned the crab walk steps, which means he's just like walking sideways, but he gets so good at it that people like he goes faster than normal people, and also people can't hit him because he can just jut sideways at any time.
and he acquired this crab walk via absolute choice.
Yeah, he gets rewards for the absolute choice depending on how hard the choice he makes and how well he completes
So
it.
one of the choices was walk sideways.
No, one of the choices was do this really fucking hard impossible thing, and his rewards was like the triple S tier crab walks.
Oh, I see.
The rewards have seemingly no correspondence except for rarity to the hardness of the task.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think he starts fighting this demon that showed
Oh
up.
yeah, it just showed up, and it's this dude talking. That beginning scene is actually kind of messed up, like super messed up, because he has to redo this and watch people like he himself get ripped apart. It is not the tone of the entire book at all.
So it's not just like a generic punishment. He sees what happens and then it resets him and it's like, okay, try again.
It very much Groundhog Days him back to the choice if he chooses not to do either of the things or fails at his chosen option.
If he fails a thing, does he immediately die? Does it like immediately reset?
It
Are there
depends.
times-
Sometimes if he just like doesn't do it within a certain time period, he gets pulled back to the choice.
Also,
And there's also choices that function differently.
there are some choices that don't give him a chance of redoing it. It's like you succeed once or you suffer a punishment, like a failure, like a permanent failure.
And he does indeed suffer one of those, but I think it ends up being good for him. I don't know.
I'm gonna ask you a question because I barely remember. Did they ever explain why the Chuny suddenly had this mythical knife ability thing that happened in the VR tournament?
That was his father imparted teaching to him on how
Remember?
to kill a pig.
The pig slaughtering knife.
Yeah, the pig slaughtering knife, but like,
That was the skill his father taught him.
Yeah, it's just
but like,
In
was
the old world,
was
when
it a real skill or was that some bullshit? Like, I don't.
I
It
imagine.
sounds like it all blended together, right?
Okay, I have a theory that the pigs that was his childhood in the story where he became the Chunibyo actual king.
Yeah.
So like that skill was the skill that he sharpened to become the most powerful skill that it actually is.
and his chuniness manifested it as an actual ability.
Like the fact that he named it like something that isn't as grandiloquent as he tries to say that he himself is drew me off at that part. Cause like, yo, pig slaughtering knife. But at the same time, he's like, I'm the grand cosmic, blah, blah, blah. This king does.
This king will cut you with a pig slaughtering knife. That's what this king is going to do.
I will cut you.
And it's one of his most lethal moves. It's great. The other one of his most lethal moves is his turtle punch, which is a punch that the slower he does it, the stronger it gets.
Well, I like those.
So like there's one time where he's just like hanging out by a wall, just like slowly moving his fist towards it as he's like trying to like nonchalantly look like he's not doing anything until he like hits the wall. Right before he touches, he's like, I'm so pissed at you guys. Intimidation check. Boom. And the wall explodes.
Wonderful.
The problem I had with this novel, I feel like the story had schizophrenia. Well, it starts off super heavy. It starts off super heavy. Then there's tons of humor. Then it's a bunch of like weird references. And then like it'll randomly jump from like weird references and anime references to I was training my crab steps running down the street over and over and over again when I ran into this character.
And then this character was like, hey, you need a house. And I was like, what?
Huh?
I guess I do. On to this crazy adventure.
Yeah, dude. Like, and then
But
like,
he's also the kind of guy who's absolutely willing to just lose until he wins.
yeah.
And like
He's scrappy.
He's like, I'll never lose because like I'll lose until I win. So in the end, I'll always win. That's why I'm the king.
No,
It's like he had very weird philosophies. It was a very interesting book.
but he built it off of that really messed up beginning part where it was just like there was this kid about to be eaten, and the choice was like save the kid or run away. And he was like, I will save the kid, no matter what that actually meant.
Via roasting the shit out of the kid. Yes, it's a great.
It would be a great fucking ending if the reason he had the whole Chunibyo complex is because his brain like subconsciously realized that the only way he could actually survive that choice, like his brain had like he had been trapped in that choice for aeons.
That was
And
like
he had been in
choice.
it so long that he had forgotten what it was like to not be in that choice, and then his brain created this other reality where he was a Chunibyo and could pull it off so that he could escape it.
Did they ever get to what the absolute choice was from?
No.
No.
Okay. Cool.
Big
God,
mystery.
no, we felt like we were just at the beginning of the story.
We were dude, they introduced these actual godlike characters, okay? Like ridiculously powerful characters, and there's like no real resolution for all the plot threads they got set up.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. They set up this huge thing where there was this like awesome betrayal thing where it's like he had this brother, this person that like went through this crazy thing to fake his own death, and like he goes through the whole thing and he's like, yeah, it's because I can't trust anything. My father hired like a bunch of people to be my family for a bunch of years, and then when I was like 14 was like, hey, none of these people were real. I just hired them all. You can't trust anything. Life is terrible. And I don't know whether that's real. That might have been my real family. My dad's just that fucked up.
That's like Gendo Hikari levels right there.
Yeah, no, and then like the apps Shijabai like one-upped that dude. And like that was one of the last things that happened in the story. And then like we were coming down from that and resolving the shit from that, and it's like, well, that's the end.
Did the original author stop doing it? Did the translator stop doing
The
it?
author stopped writing it.
So
It has nothing, it's not translated. All that's been written has been translated.
it was a traditional web novel then.
It was
like-
it was on, I think, Wuxia World
Yeah,
originally.
yeah, it was on Wuxia
and
World,
then,
and then
it
it-
was one of the first ones that Chidian actually ate up. as I
Yeah,
remember.
because it was originally on their stuff, so they continued that, and it just ran out.
Novel Updates has status is 583 chapters. Hiatus.
Yeah. It's really sad because it was a really fun story. The Absolute Choice like provided a lot of really fun scenarios. There was a lot of stuff like the main premise of this story is that we've been alluding to it, but like the main character is the Chunibyoist Chuni, which if anyone is not familiar with what the term Chunibyo means, it comes from the term, it literally translates in Japanese to basically like middle schooler complex. The idea being the kid in middle school that pretends like they have a dark, serious, mysterious past. You know, maybe they wear an eye patch that seals their dark power, or maybe they wear...
The dragon of the darkness flames trapped in my right hand, so I can't use it for anything, or else the world may end.
Yeah, like people like that. Except that's the main character comes out basically at that level or higher on everything, except he always backs his shit up. So like the real question of the story is he talking shit or is this real?
Okay, but here's the problem, right? He's such a jackass. He's such a little shit that you as a reader don't know if you can trust him. You're not even sure if he can actually back up any of the shit he's saying because he's pitifully weak.
This might be like the 10th time I've said this, but I really like unreliable narrators. That's one of my favorite tropes. Like,
It's like almost frustrating because like there's a point where he actually starts getting awesome because there's cultivation in this world too. Like he has an inner world that's based off of his imagination, sets the world for his cultivation, but also they have like, you've seen One Punch Man where you have like the hero tests and all that.
Yeah.
They have that in there as well. And it like a hero school he's in.
And of course he's really good at it because he's unlocked 1/100,000th of his true ungodly potential.
you can't see me rolling
That
my
is
eyes,
more-
but I'm rolling my eyes.
That is more than enough to defeat you, guy who's like 3,000 times better than him.
Yeah,
But he
boy.
finds a way. Like there's even a point where like there's a politics backstory going on with like the cyber terrorists and like San Francisco and a sniper that jacks in the online stuff to take out the terrorists.
Ooh, I like that.
And like
Yeah.
the leader of China has to get his like daughter who's playing the game back. I like
Kidnap
And the
diplomat
main and
daughters.
Shijabai made his username mildly offensive to Chinese people. so people keep having to refer to him by it. It's very funny.
There's literally like a 70 chapter portion where it's just a VR MMO story, where he's just
He's training in a VR MMO.
Sure. I mean, like, it
like
sounds,
in a pod, like jacked into it.
it sounds like this author just couldn't decide what he wanted out of a book.
It does. It's goddamn idea salad. It has so many anime and game references, like literally just characters littered into this.
It reminded me of Chinese Medaka box. That's really what it is. It changes genre constantly, with just the only thing keeping it together is Shishaobai.
Honestly,
Yeah,
until
one
it
guy.
hits the tower training arc, it really has an issue keeping a common thread.
Right before the tower training issue, though, they did have this neat scene of Calamity. They were talking about Calamity fiends. There was this one where it's just like, they just started raining from the sky. They just all started raining from the sky. So you get to see, like, all of these superhero...
like
licensed
Hisoka and One Pun
Oh, I see.
and everything, and his hidden ridiculous girlfriend decides, well, he's in danger. Let me just drop a meteor and wipe everything out.
He's
Oh,
got a
that's smart.
girlfriend that's like a thousands of year old pure celestial fairy that like is very much a reference to an actual anime character that I cannot remember for the life of me right now.
It's one of those goth lolly vampire
Goth
chicks.
lolly vampire, but she's got pure perfect celestial pure blood. Don't worry. She's like literally the strongest person I think in the series.
She has her own
That we're aware of?
faction in the hero stuff, and it's just her.
Hot damn.
Yeah, she has her own faction, and it's just her, and she can basically do whatever she wants because no one can actually stop her. And the main character, mostly through misunderstanding, causes her to fall in love with him.
Oh, those are fun.
And so she like becomes his secret supporter. There's a certain point where he gets trapped in a tower, and he's like, oh no, he's in trouble. So she self-limits her powers so she can join the game and play with her. And it becomes apparent to her, she's like, oh, I could have done way more if I just stayed outside. I really just wanted to play with you, didn't I? Yeah, well.
I'm in here now, though, so we're gonna play the game.
Nope.
It's
For
cool. At least there's some very fun stuff.
70
Like the
chapters out
dragons
of,
made
what
out
was
of
like
diamonds.
580, you said?
583.
You said it just seemed like he was getting kicked off, too?
I honestly think the tower arc was supposed to be like the beginning of the real plot of the book. And
Yeah.
it just stopped right after it, unfortunately.
I felt like he was starting to get used to this writing style, and like he was introducing characters that weren't entirely anime memes as well. Because the beginning, it's all anime memes. Like he read Boku no Hero Academia. He liked Hunter x Hunter. It had potential because it was a fun read. First and foremost, it's not I Shall Sail the Heavens. Okay, it's not that.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not transcendent, but it was a fun ride, and like it made me want more stuff to happen. I wanted more absolute choices to happen.
Yeah, there was not nearly enough. There was more absolute choices in the first like 25% of what was translated than like the back end.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
it
Like once he
became
got
way-
like crab steps and fighting abilities, the absolute choices weren't.
It's like the author got bored of that particular like
A little bit.
mechanism.
And that was the problem, is like I really think the story stopped for the pure reason that the author got bored of writing it, and that's the real tragedy.
I would love to see a more serious thing done with this absolute choice plot thread story thing because it has so much potential.
Shishabai was such a fucking fascinating character.
Yeah, 100%. I think he was the only thing that the author probably knew. Like, I wanted the character with this personality.
Yeah.
I want to see what I can do with it.
Okay, so I want a character absolute choice-esque, but he uses the thing he's supposed to do, and he's like, oh, well, this is obviously a detriment, eating this porn mag. But he MacGyver's eating the porn mag like Sakamoto no Desuga.
Yeah.
Like, he just does the thing in such a way that it's still the good thing.
Fuck you, Sanzai X.
Okay, so what got me to keep reading Absolute Choice, okay? What got me to keep reading it is because I actually, like, some people couldn't handle how brutal the beginning was. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
We know you love heartbreaking, depressing shit, Richard.
It's just, I like the idea of a normal, this is just like a 15-year-old kid and have him deal with like demons and world-shattering dudes and have him just repeat these situations until he finds the 1 in 14 million chance of him somehow beating this situation with just the powers of a normal human being. What if he was an actual Chuny But the absolute choice gave him all the ingenuity to repeat this horrific situation enough times to beat it as a normal human. That's what I was hoping absolute choice was.
There's so many questions about what the fuck was going on in this story.
Yeah. Sounds like he didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is why this is where it is in this
So we're in
purgatorious
purgatory,
land.
It felt very much like the author was like writing to a point and then he was like, fuck.
What do I do now?
Yeah, I'm just tired of writing this story.
We're gonna take a break. Bye.
It's like the Tales of Demons and Gods do, where he just like went out to go get some cigarettes and never came back home to his readers.
To be fair, Tales of Demons and Gods started to write a different story, stopped writing that story, and now writes his current story at a rate of like one chapter every month or two if he feels like it.
I mean, I'm glad Absolute Choice at least didn't have a situation where he had like an animated show and a manga and he still didn't want to write. Like, this guy just gave up before it got to that point.
That's unfortunate.
Which is a shame, because at least this one was like highly readable and super
Yeah.
enjoyable. Like, why couldn't
Impossible to
Shadowhack have the
animate.
common decency of stopping? You know, like I don't get it. Why does the unfun shit keep going,
Yeah.
but the fun shit stop?
No, there was just really like they really did fun stuff with the Absolute Choice though. Like where they would do like the interaction with Hisoka, where like unbeknownst to us or the main character, but beknownst to every other character in the story, the Hisoka-esque character has an issue with his underwear being talked about. So the Absolute Choice is like, do this impossible thing, do a very embarrassing thing, ask about underwear. And Shishabai is like, well, of course it's ask about underwear. Why
Yeah,
would I
duh.
choose anything else?
That's
Ask about
easy for
underwear. And the entire world's like, why would you say the one thing?
Everything is painted to where he is the blissful idiot.
Yes.
And, like, it's so much fun. And I wished it would continue to where he would just, like, go all the way to the end, not actually doing anything, just, like, lightly pushing the ball and have everyone else push the ball the rest of the way
Yeah.
for him.
He's shooting Mr. Bean. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's as confused as we are.
Exactly that.
He's as confused as we are.
Seriously, it's... Yeah, and he was fine with that. He's like, no, it's cool. I'll have... I'm the chosen one. Everything I need to know will be in front of me when I need it. It doesn't matter. But seriously, this is a deep cut, but, like, it's irresponsible Space Captain Tyler. Like, the point of that show is the main character a genius or an idiot? And that is exactly the point of this show. Like, of this series, I guess.
Let's talk about some cool things that actually happened in the story.
All right, I'm going to jump into the Hisoka thing, where he had Hisoka, the guy was pissed about him asking about the underwear, so he basically drags him down to hell, his like own personal domain area, and starts giving him all these tests, and they're supposed to be designed to basically kill him. But like he has poison immunity to the point where like he actually gains physical health because the poison tempers him. So the guy gives him these awful poisons, and he's supposed to be like, one of these is fair and the other two are horrible poisons. And Shijabai's like, oh cool, and picks up all three and just drains them.
Well, they should probably be fine.
And he's like, cool, now he'll certainly die. And he's like, oh, that was delicious. Thank you so much for the kinds.
Bye. It was very parching.
I'm trying to remember what was the test they did to the whole class. Hisoka's whole class, they had a test of like the powers of people. And he was supposed to join one of the kings. He was supposed to join one of the kings of the class. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to do my own thing over here.
This king will have his own.
All right. Here's one of the floors on the Tower of Training, because they had their own floors and they were all separated into like, they had a task and you had to do it. And like, you had to do it within a certain amount or you'd get left behind. And if you get left behind, you weren't going to get far enough to be real. There's like a thing that like, if it caught up to you, you were kicked out of the tower. And because everyone was like worried about this, everyone was hurrying. So there's a floor where it's like a tower defense kind of thing. You're split up in groups of 4. There's 4 paths leading in, and each of you has to defend a path. And there's like a tree in the middle. As you defend the paths, you gain points. You can spend the points in the shop in between to gain buffs or weapons or like cure the tree. And so Shishabai is like solving it. He's easily about to win. And then he's like, no, this is wrong. And he turns around and just destroys his own tree. And then like he gets warped out and put into another instance with like other people.
Then he goes and kills
And then he's like, and they're like, cool, awesome, Shishabai, he was one of the strong ones. I guess we're gonna be great because he just like made a name for himself in the previous 2 floors.
Sure.
So it's like, oh, how did you not already advance to the 4th floor? Or whatever floor it was. That's crazy. And it's like, no, it's cool. And he turns around and just destroys the tree. And like the word starts like going around about him being like the destroyer of the game and everything. And people are like, what are you doing? But he like, because he's destroying the tree, like it like wipes out all the creatures and he gets points for all of them. So he goes to the final thing and he gathers actually every single person in the 3rd floor into the last surviving tree. And then spends all the points to get all this broken equipment. Which he then gets to keep.
Of course.
And then he destroys the waves by himself easily. And everyone gets to pass together.
That is pretty genius. I'll give him that.
And it's very much a story about him turning situation. Like, that's not an atypical situation.
Sure.
Good old idiot reversals. There's a lot of, like, there is a game system in this, kind of. Like, the absolute choice gives him stats and gives him stuff. So, like...
And there are quantifiable skills that other people have and are aware of as well.
So, like, you do see that he gets information, like, you know, he knows he's poison resistant when he drinks the 3 cups. Because he knows, like, oh, this will help me train my poison resistance. Great. Because he's always looking... He's got that itch.
Yeah.
The poisons he has are too weak.
poison.
He needs some stronger poisons to up his poison resistance.
Obviously.
And he got that off of just a random, like, bullshit absolute choice gave him the poison resistance.
Yeah, it was a very dumb one.
But, like, keep in mind, that's, like, a really, really randomly good skill. But, like, this is a world where if you have, like, a C rank skill, you're, like, godlike. Like, most people don't have those. Most people are using, like, D and E rank shit.
But
And they're, like, strong, like, heroes fighting things.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it felt like a story that was, like, at the end and yet at the very beginning.
I mean, like, they had set up that his cultivation and the universe he was making inside of himself was going to grow with him. So, like, clearly he was at the beginning of, like, okay, this is weird because they have a game system in this, but they also have, like, cultivation. So, like,
both.
he was cleansing his body of impurities and all the stuff that you would with cultivating and his inner world and creating suns and water and processing things. So he was doing that.
While also having a stat window.
And game system buffs and absolute choice buffs.
It just felt like this person liked a lot of media, and he's like, I'm just going to put everything I like into my book.
Yeah, just put it all in there. Why not?
And it was a lot of fun. But the why not is, guess you run out of ideas.
Put yourself into a corner. I will say I did a little bit of research, and it looks like the author put out a note that's like, hey, sorry, I started writing a different book, so you can go read that book. And there's a book called Glory Magic Woo, or at least that is what
Glory
the
Magic Woo!
Yeah, that's what the machine translation called it. I'm not sure if somebody's actually bothered translating it, but like, it looked to be about a guy who could pull a sword out of his chest.
Ooh.
Yeah, cool power. Fucking awesome.
You know, sucks.
I can pull a sword out of my chest. I just die after.
Well, you know what I'm afraid of because of the way this guy writes. He probably watched Guilty Crown. He's like, oh, that guy can pull swords out of people's chests. That's a cool idea. Let me make my character do
Yeah,
that.
just pull swords out of his own chest. That's better.
I couldn't pull a sword out of Shisha Bash. I better write a different book.
Yeah, might as well stop.
No, I think he did. I think he did pull a sword out of his chest.
He got a living sword. That was
Remember
pretty cool.
his king dream space? Man.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he pulled a sword out that started like an apocalypse at one point. He pulled out like a sealing sword.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume all that grand talk he did in the first 2 chapters when he was getting brutally massacred. In my headcanon, all of it was true, and he is some ancient cosmic king.
It's the most fun assumption.
And like something or someone forced him here to repeat this and limited his power. And maybe the absolute choice is him.
Maybe the absolute choice was his limiter all along.
Again, his whole diatribe about good and evil, I'm not unconvinced that was the actual plot of the book, that what you exactly just said happened because he, as a king, was like, I don't have the perspective from the top of the universe to truly judge good and evil. I have to become as weak as possible and grow back to my level to truly be able to judge good and evil. So let me create a new world and a new self in which to judge. I am not unconvinced that is not the plot of the story.
Like, what if that's true? Like, and that explains all of like the weird references to anime. What if it was just like
A dude's dream.
He made this
he
world.
made this world, and he was just like, I don't know how to fill it, so I'm gonna fill it with random pop culture and have myself suffer through it to temper myself so I can fix a problem.
Like, he literally is like 42. Like, why was Earth built? To answer a question that we didn't know was being asked.
Yeah.
Like, Absolute Choice is almost certainly just him creating situations to lead him towards the destiny he has.
And it's probably like each absolute choice is there for a reason, to create the threads of fate required to accomplish what he needs to accomplish in this
It's
time.
just him in the future tying karma to his past self to create the future that needs to happen.
Yes.
Just like that, what's that dude in Martial World where he had the, like, samsara, like a multiple, like, thousands of lives? This is like, instead of that, it's just one.
Yeah.
It's just one life.
Yeah, I kept reading updated information. Sorry, I've been so silent for so long.
No,
but
I get that.
I read, or I skimmed, a machine-translated version of the post that the author put up before the last, like, hey, I made another book, which was, okay, so it came down to this. He's either in high school or college, because this was affecting his grades.
It had to be college, given the age of the references.
Yeah.
That, or he is the most hardcore tastes for anime that in a high schooler I've ever fucking
He's definitely in college. There's no way.
I mean, this
those
was-
references, some of them were obscure.
This was written in 2016, or began being released.
Yeah, and like he had Excel World references and like
See, yeah, that, I
yeah,
didn't have the...
just no. There's no way a high schooler. seen that.
So he was a college student, and he was approached, it looks like, by a publisher about his other book that he was working on, and he had the option of continuing to work on this book, which he, it seems like, had found difficulty in writing. And also,
I'm not saying he was. I just would say, like, if I was in the position he was in the book, I wouldn't really know where the fuck to go.
yeah, he apologized like 5 times. There's a part where he just goes, "I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry." Like, it's a good blog entry, but he promises in this also to come back and finish it at some point, but that has not happened.
That would be incredible. I would love to see fucking on novel updates. Fucking Absolute Choice Chapter 5, 84,
and
whatever.
Dude, we have to do a revival if it does.
Oh, 100%. And you know,
Well,
it might
would
better.
Would that be
he's
treading the path
older.
of heaven redemption?
Another fucking one. Okay.
That we only have to do that if a Purgatory episode we do Purgatory on starts being written again in a serious manner.
That's what Raising the
Fin-
Dead
finally
does.
a
I mean,
real
like, yes,
breakthrough.
that's this
A real
the
breakthrough.
author stopped, but like that's what Raising the Dead does. We can't possibly put ourselves on that. There's multiple translation groups that do that as a practice. Like,
Again, this one is not that.
Okay, so like if I was to like sit down and go home and check my novel, my giant novel list of things that are incomplete, that are never going to complete as far as I'm concerned, and somehow it's like 50 episodes, we have 50 gift chapters of Tales of Demons and Gods from here to here. How did you do that? I'm going to start reading again. Clearly he's back at it again.
yeah.
But that's probably never going to happen.
I don't know, man.
Hey, we still get so much Tales of Demons and Gods. I think they're still dealing with the elixirs they made like 4 chapters ago.
I think that guy had wrote himself into a corner because he like set up his ending already.
Well, no, he went to
Tiny World was sweet, and then he's like, fuck.
Didn't he go to like the army or something?
Did he go to the army?
Yeah.
No, I'm almost positive he started writing a book called like Moonshine something.
You guys, this is a really weird subculture.
Yeah.
That author just stopped writing because he decided to go into the army.
Well, he didn't decide to. I'm pretty sure like it was the mandatory
Like,
army.
No, I don't
gotcha.
think he.
No,
I don't
I'm-
think that happened to him because he had like a like legit publisher set up, legit all this other stuff. I think he was already established. I don't think he went to the military.
No, I'm almost positive he stopped writing Tales of Demons and Gods to write another. Like, it's a thing I've read about, but people are upset about Tales of Demons and Gods.
So I found an article. It's not an article. It's from the author of this book. It's just one of the entries in this book's like listings entitled 30 anime recommendations. So he not only put his love of anime directly into the book, but he was like, "Hey man, you like my anime references? Here's where all my anime references are."
I kind of want to see this.
I handed it
Read
to
out
Kenny,
a few.
so he
Read out a
couldn't.
few.
Well, the first one's Clanad.
Of course, that was obvious. Yeah.
Health of Wine. That's a deep cut. Dreamer.
Some of them are gonna be weirdly machine
Fate
translated.
Stay
but-
Night.
Of course, that was obvious.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gate of Destiny.
That explains like why like A rank, C rank, all that because that was
Your Lie in April,
of course, yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist.
No, I take that back. I apologize. I think it was the translator who was the translator of the work I was reading was going into the military,
Yeah,
so
okay.
translating was going to be slow.
Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
that makes sense.
Any other standouts, Kenny?
I'm looking through, but Angel Beats, Madoka,
Oh, Angel Beats. At least it's not Charlotte. Oh, Charlotte.
Nodame.
What?
Nodame Lover's Dreams. I'm almost positive that's the fucking music.
Yeah.
Never actually read that one. Nodame Cantabile or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yes.
Rebirth of the Thief
Oh.
Who Roamed the World.
These are like very much translated titles, so I'm having to kind of do a little bit of mental work
sorry,
here.
I wasn't sure.
This
how much
one's
it was
definitely
gonna
Code Geass, though.
Oh, yeah.
Lelouch of the
Dragon and Tiger.
Oh, Lelouch.
Looks
I
like
need
a
to
fair
watch
bit
that
of these are
movie.
actually like Chinese animation.
be. Ooh, okay. I've been into watching some Chinese animation. Oh, we got subs. I don't want dubs. Get them shitty Netflix
Gundam
dubs out of
Seed.
here.
Oh, man. Gundam
Seed is
Seed.
super popular in Asian cultures.
I mean, Gundam Seed was designed to get more women into Gundam, and it succeeded, and I appreciate it for doing that. But get Kira Yamato away from my Gundam forever, please. Thank you. Jesus Yamato, get out of here.
Just that
Evangelion.
all for our anime podcast.
Future Diary, Death Note,
but I was behind
Sumicho,
you. But you see,
Air, and World God Only Knows. This is interesting.
Yeah, the World
This
God
is-
Only
There's some
Knows.
pretty deep cuts in there.
The World God Only Knows was such a good one. It was the literal definition of genre savvy.
What do? Man, I'm really, really good at getting these relationship flags in these games.
I don't think we can play genre savvy on this one because there's too many tags.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there was like a whole page of them. It's
Pick like two.
do two. Do the weirdest ones you can see on that list, Bill.
I do want to bring up The Thief Who Roamed the World or whatever is the novel by Mad Snail, which is also by Tales of Demons and God Guy.
Thief Who Roamed the World. I wonder what that's like.
All right. Let's see. God, there's so many, but all of them like we've kind of already covered.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job. I'm actually
Yeah.
pretty impressed with us here.
It's amazing to talk about something now.
I mean, like there's Unconditional Love, but that's just from his super girlfriend who like has mistaken his care for her to be like he treats her like a person, which no one does because he has the
She's above them, literally.
he has the chuny confidence to like think he's above everyone. But like naive protagonist, he literally over the course of the adventure, just,
Multiple realms is a tag.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Lucky protagonist for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens, yeah, those friggin' things coming from outer space or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, there were aliens.
They're aliens.
Oh, alien superheroes from books.
No,
No, alien cataclysmic monsters that the superheroes that are also cultivators but are also normal superheroes fight.
This is very complicated.
And there's
It's a
also
very complicated.
they have like
it's
a
complicated in
heroes
the way
guild.
that shonen action shows are complicated, in that it's not complicated, but it really sounds like it when you explain it.
if you've seen it build, then it all follows
They
perfectly.
added more adjectives and like okay, so I really like continuity. I really like systems that make sense, and I really like. Okay, there's a reason why I really, really got into a certain magical index, a certain scientific rogue, and all that stuff. Read
What
those
about
books.
Accelerator?
Yeah, Accelerator, all that. I got into it because the separation between magic and science and figuring out what is science and what is magic and who belongs where and what political system, I like that. He tried to tackle that, but he got confused. He's like, there's 5, but also there's like, this is only for this area, and there's danger zones. There's also countries. And the countries have blah, blah, blah. And each different country has their own guild separated into 5. But then everything got scrambled together. And he didn't know what was happening. It's like someone who's never cooked hamburger helper tried to make hamburger helper with a blindfold on.
And a general idea of what the recipe calls for, but like,
like,
what order?
What am I making? I
Yeah.
don't know. What is this? This feels like meat.
Throw that meat in there. Sure, get that meat going.
But it's not meat.
Yeah, okay.
We don't know what it is.
I will say this one is labeled Xuan Huan or Xuan Huan.
Yeah, that's your cultivation novel that doesn't follow traditional Taoist themes. So like
okay.
your genre is your I Shall Seal the Heavens, that kind of thing. That's really hitting those Taoists that you're gonna see those more traditional like Jindan, like Golden Core, Nascent Soul, that kind of stuff. Whereas this is like cultivation is an important part. It's gonna follow the kind of epic genre storylines, but it's either Western or modern or like has its own weird fantasy. It doesn't follow like traditional routes. It does its more. There's like
numerology, none of
19
that.
subgenres kind of within the whole wuxia genre scope. There's actually an article on Wuxia World somewhere about it that kind of breaks down all the differences between each one. There's like ones that are like specifically referring to the Tang sect of the Tang ancestral period in China's, like in the Tang dynasty, and specifically the courts and the historical things in there. There's like there's literally a genre about that.
I'm gonna throw some Xuanwan names at you. Against the gods, Emperor's domination.
Yep.
Martial god Asura.
Masura. I like that.
Good old Masura. Sage monarch. Sovereign of the three realms.
I've read that.
Talisman Emperor. That looks cool.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Damn it, we got to put another one on the fucking list. Talisman Emperor.
I've actually heard that one's really good.
There's somebody out there
it
that's like,
sounds
yes,
cool.
do
I
it.
hope it's just like a dude who's just really good at formations. I would love to read that because formations don't get
You know,
nearly
it's gonna
enough
be
love.
it's gonna be an inscription guy.
Oh. I just want to. Like, can it be about the guy who makes the inscriptions on the formation flags? Like, I would like that. It's like I'm that guy. My empire's like a money empire. People buy him
Is it
from
True
me.
Martial World or Martial World where he made the regenerating inscriptions that made him so much money?
I believe it was Martial World.
Yeah, there was a guy who made inscriptions that like he used the primordial like air like energy of the area they were in. He was like in a tiny world that he gained insight into. So he was using like the rules of the world to do his inscriptions. And so he would like someone would use it. It's supposed to be a consumable item that like stores an explosion. So it explodes, it hurts a guy, and then the inscription just like reforms in front of him.
And like the first crew that had that was just like,
That's
the
so
fuck
good.
is this?
so good.
We have to report this.
So they all just like, so they go back and it's like, hey, you handed us these inscriptions. These are our tools of war. There's no way you would take back our equipment that you gave to us, right? And they're like, of course, there's no way to do it. We just need you to promise that before we make our report. Okay, sure. These inscriptions are crazy as shit. Watch this.
And these are mine now, and you can't have them.
He basically funds the rest of his career in that world because of that.
And then they're like, oh man, this is incredible, but it's only this week thing. And he's like, well, yeah, but I can do that with any level of talismans. And they're like, what?
Oh, different.
That is a different book.
It is a different book, but the point.
This is an aside, but that just brought something back to me. Something just hit me, and I need to bring it up. Did Gourmet from Another World ever continue
Dude,
going?
I think that is actually. I think there has been more chapters. It's on. I haven't read it in like a long time, but that is a book I'd be happy to talk about because that book is fantastic. Because that is a cultivation novel about a character who cultivates as a side product because he wants to be a better chef,
If cultivating will make me a better chef, then yeah. I'll
and also
absolutely
about the
cultivate.
guy who opens his restaurant for like a few hours each day and like charges the most exorbitant fucking prices possible.
That's what we did with Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's absurd how much he costs, but it's so good that the people that can afford it basically start bankrupting themselves at his restaurant.
Wow, that's a crazy super deep cut that no one will ever get.
No one.
0 people.
Us.
I barely got it.
Yeah.
I guess that brings us down to business.
Yeah, business. We don't
Hey,
have.
Yuki Okami, Elder of the Sect, you're incredible, and thank you so much for supporting us.
Yuki Okami.
Yuki Okami. This is not part of the deal.
Okami.
I mean, like, if it. Listen, all I'm gonna say is this is a Patreon reward for Yuki Okami, an Elder Sect member of our humble little sect here. The thing that I'm trying to get around to is there are 24 possible names that we would have to do, and so if we all do them every time, that's gonna get real laborious.
When they get more, we'll have to change it.
Yeah, we could like break it up into chunks. You know, I do one, you do one, whatever.
No, we have to all
We
say
can get
the
it
name.
down in like the triplet.
We'll make a song.
We'll just pre-record all of the elders.
No,
And
no,
then
that's
No,
cheating.
we have to do
chorus.
it. We have
Cheating.
to say it. They have earned our breath.
That's cheating as fuck. We gotta do it. We gotta do it in the moment, and we gotta do it in different voices every time. So it's not just saying like Yukio Kami, and then we.
I
all
mean,
do,
if
like,
we
a
want to
fucking-
write a barbershop quartet, that's fine, but we can only do it once.
Yeah, sure. It'll take practice and a lot of effort, but it might be worth it.
I mean, we got time between each recording.
So if we fill all of our sect elder spots, we'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Man, like,
Well,
I
that's
don't
sect elder.
expect
There's sect elder and chosen. So if you pay us $20 or more per episode, we say your name at the end of every episode because you're a mad person who gave us money.
And we're very, very thankful about it.
Yeah, not insulting mad person like
We're-
wow, you're a madman kind of person.
Yeah.
Words.
No, we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate all of our Patreon supporters and all of our just listeners that have continued to give us their time and spread the word for us. We really, really do appreciate it. We do this for you guys.
Yeah, we don't necessarily do this for the money, although that does help. Helps us like continue like funding the show, and so it's not just us paying to host our dumb voices on the internet. Because otherwise it's just us being like, hey, I have a podcast, like to whoever comes by.
speaking of having a podcast, where can they find us?
It's like on
iTunes.
Places,
They're
places
fucking
you get
listening to us
podcasts.
right now.
No,
They got here.
Well, yeah, but where else could they find us?
Oh, it's Twitter. Yeah, thanks,
Twitter.
Bill.
Also, Discord.
Twitter, Discord. Come join our Discord. We hang out on Discord a lot.
Yeah, it's a good time.
If you come say something, I will probably greet you if you show up.
It's
Because
a-
there are so few people.
What I really like is that it gives me a place to go and like jump on and be like, holy shit, Long Chen just did this stupid shit. Someone come be excited with me about Long Chen doing this
The secret
stupid
is
shit.
Long Chin is always doing awesome, stupid shit.
there's-
so I'm always on there waiting for someone to
But my
start that
goal was
conversation.
always to be a new and improved scoundrel.
You've got we started making channels for books as we were talking about them, so we have the opportunity to like not spoil people, but also
As-
we talk about stuff other places like we talk about. all kinds
If
of
you have a
shit.
suggestion for a book, please let us know. We're always looking for more stuff to
If
read.
you have a demand for a book, please pay us $50 an episode
Yeah,
because then you could demand a book.
9-Star Hegemon Body Art was a book I definitely only read because of this podcast, and it is one of my favorite books, so thank you.
Same, 100%.
As a reminder, coming in the future is Adolu Dalu Nights at Yukio Kami's behest.
Yeah, that'll be into September, right?
Definitely still in the future.
Yeah.
We've
Sorry, I was thinking of the other nights we just did.
yeah. Hey, we didn't just do it. Shut up, you go break the.
I was talking about everyone else's returning.
Oh yeah, that one.
So they can find us at Twitter.
Tiger Coaster on Twitter, Discord. There's a link to it in here. Send us an email at tiger.rollercoaster@gmail.com.
If you want to send us like a cool voicemail or something that you like us to play on the show, if you want to send us like a short, like 2-minute review of a book you really like,
Yeah, man.
we might be able to play it on the show. Like, just
Be
let
like
us
the
know.
Dr. Dementos.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna pretty much be that's gonna bring us to the end.
Oh yeah, don't read Absolute Choice. Don't do it to yourself
Oh, yeah.
unless you want to just
We
check
should've-
out this weird book.
We should have maybe started with that. Like, don't read this
I mean-
book. Did we start with that?
Do read it.
I mean,
But don't.
don't read it with the thought of it's going to be fulfilling. Read it with the thought of, oh, this will be fun.
Yeah, it's a fun journey. It's about the journey, not the ending, because the ending doesn't exist.
Okay. Oh, I like that. I might have to put that on my tombstone.
We might.
How delightfully ironic.
Yeah, because the ending doesn't exist, says the corpse underneath this headstone.
That would be super metal.
Look at the bed list,
We're
man.
gonna go see Grandpa.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, he's dead under
Embrace
there.
the journey because the ending doesn't exist.
There is nothing.
And then as soon as they step up, they hit a trap button that has you like come out of the coffin with your with the throwing the horns.
Double horns, and I will have a like mummified tongue hanging out of my mouth for sure.
And pyrotechnics.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Pyrotechnics are a must.
And then
Assumed.
see the problem is you're gonna be so dry that the pyrotechnics will set you up.
The burning corpse.
Wants to go out.
Worth it.
The burning corpse smell is a benefit. It's a feature, not a bug. Yeah. All right. I guess that'll call it. I guess we'll call it for this one.
We didn't even have time to talk about all the stuff that hasn't happened yet because the book isn't over.
'Cause it never
Have a
goddamn
good
will.
night.
Tiger Roller Coaster Productions. Tigers are scary. You try to get off.